Anybody else on yet?
No, Chad will not be here. He's feeling under the weather, and Jason said he'll try to come in through Zoom.
Okay. Which, until we get another one, if we get Jason, everything that we do has to be unanimous, or we don't, or it doesn't pass. Okay? I am going to go way out on the line and bet Pete Schneider is not gonna make it. But we'll just pass by until, and Mike Schneider, we'll pass by those guys until they show.
Sure. Mike's actually not gonna make it at all today. I bumped into him at the gas station last night, and
okay.
he said he wanted to be bumped to the next meeting.
Okay. Good enough.
I was just running to the bathroom.
Oh, great. Hey, you made
Just
it.
want to start, I'll be right back.
Yep, we're good. Oh, that's good. Okay. So we're a good form now. Okay, so no Mike.
Jason?
Amendments to the agenda?
Yes, sir. Can I add, under executive session, 1 VSA 313A1, personnel discussion?
I'll make a motion to add to an executive session under 1 VSA 313A1 for personnel/contract.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One more time. Aye.
It's unanimous.
We're unanimous.
I thought you heard me, I did say
Oh,
aye.
I'm
Yep,
sorry.
unanimous.
Okay, so we're in. Okay, we got some minutes here.
Okay.
All right, minutes of December 12th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from December 12th as written.
Second.
I'll second it, but I got one correction.
All right.
On the back, the board roundtable, I was talking about the guys using their own personal trucks and vehicles for getting the job sites and stuff. It says it looks like they were carrying gas to mowing sites. What I insinuated that with the carrying the gas on the back of the larger dump truck, it'd be a lot safer if they were in a pickup with it. It would be less lifting. The way it's worded here, it looks like it was,
Carrying it by hand.
looks like they were carrying gas in their own personal vehicles, and that's not,
So,
it's not true.
On backup.
so if we said carrying gas to mowing sites is safer in the back of a pickup, would that be
That's
factual?
That is
And put a
factual.
period there?
That is factual.
Okay.
However, we want to correct that it's not in a personal vehicle.
Right.
Right.
That's correct. Yeah.
Back of pickup.
You okay with that change?
Looks like Mr. Schneider's coming in too.
Oh, yes?
Personal
Oh,
vehicle.
Looks like he's zooming.
Good
oh,
with
good, good. We'll get back to him in a minute.
Good with that, Jim.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? You made it. How was the ride?
2280 is really bad.
Took Tracy an hour to get back from Rutland.
Yeah, it took me, I couldn't get much above 25. Hey Joe, did you have is my stuff still in the box?
It is, I unlocked the door.
All right, I'll look at it.
Sorry, I didn't know if you were gonna pop in and...
We're just gonna do the,
Motion to accept the minutes from December 21st as written.
yep,
Second.
thank you. Any additions, deletions, corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, so I'll let Jason get back and then we'll get Mr. Schneider.
We have minutes from
Oh,
January 4th.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
But it's not on the agenda.
oh,
I think I missed, did it just say January?
Oh, no, it's not.
it's not on the agenda, so we'll wait till the next meeting?
Okay.
Let's wait till the next meeting, that would be the proper thing to do. I suppose we could add it as an amendment to the agenda, but
No,
let's do that, it's not a big deal. Mr. Schneider is, now I know why you're here, Lyle, it dawned on me, you know, I'm sharp. sharpen the uptake every once in a while.
let's give, this is,
Well, I want to hear what Peter had to say tonight.
yeah, we'll
so,
give Jason a chance to settle in,
Yeah,
and then we'll do Mr. Schneider.
yes.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
So is he coming?
He's on Zoom.
Deep breath.
It's on.
Okay, so we'll bounce back up a little bit to Peter Schneider and discussion of the Skyline building.
Yeah, hi everybody.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you? You got four of the 5 selectmen, one is feeling bad.
Okay. That sounds good. Great, well, what I was thinking is I'd just give a little overview of the initiative that I'm proposing here, and then, give Lyle a chance to just contribute what his role and the chamber's role could be here, and any thoughts on the initiative as well, and then certainly anytime any questions or comments come up, obviously jump in, and then more than happy to discuss this idea and what it might look like to move forward. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, so in short, the pitch, so to speak, is to submit a pre-application to the Vermont Community Development Program for a planning grant to evaluate reactivating the former Skyline factory that's been offline for about a decade now. The thought would be to get that factory back up and running, delivering affordable homes to the Northeast. There's a significant demand right now for housing, as I think we all know. The latest, Housing and Finance Agency's evaluation of the housing need in Vermont, we're looking at about 5,500 homes needed in the next, under 2 years now. And we're looking at, about 30,000 homes needed by 2030, and that's just in Vermont. And this factory, as you know, historically, and the way I'd see it moving forward, would serve beyond Vermont as well. He's looking at, employing 75 to 100 folks in the factory, from assembly line workers to folks up front in the office. The evaluation would include a number of different aspects, and I should note, so I'm here representing Efficiency Vermont as the state's energy efficiency utility. As I talked with Lyle and others, including Sean Camara, and some consultants that I work with on other similar types of projects, as I should have given you some background on myself, but over the past 20 years approximately, I've been with Efficiency Vermont and the parent organization VEIC. I specialize in residential construction, both single family and small multifamily, and specifically in factory built construction. And a lot of the work I do here in Vermont with factory built and affordable housing, I'm working with partners not only in Vermont but outside the state as well. And so we've been evaluating these plans, we've been helping get plans started up to deliver housing, and also working to improve the specifications of housing coming out of the factories throughout the Northeast. So that is why I have an interest here. I have been working with builders in Pennsylvania and New York State and Maine, in addition to a couple of builders in Vermont, but it's always been of interest to me to try to expand and scale our capacity for factory-built housing in Vermont. And I definitely see the former Skyline factory as a really great opportunity, to sort of simplify what can be a quite difficult task of getting a factory up and operational, with some of the capital expenses alone, let alone permitting and so forth. So this is a unique opportunity, and spoke with Joe in detail about this, and Joe expressed, interest in pursuing this, as well as Lyle's support in looking at this. And so in short, Efficiency Vermont's role and my role specifically would be to consult on this project as I do with, all of my other projects, and to support consultants that the town would hire, and I would provide assistance in the application process, developing RFPs to submit to consultants to provide support under this feasibility study. And this would be looking at the building specifically, thinking about business models, the market. There's a lot of aspects, what the capital needs would be to get the plant back up and running, looking at operations, even option to purchase the property potentially, depending on the Camara's interest in the project, moving in this direction, and their interest in the building and that ownership model, in addition to potentially an interest in the manufacturing plant if it were to shift back to housing. So, there's a lot of different aspects of this that would need to be evaluated. We break this up into a few different pieces, and I have a factory consultant that's actually designed, owned, and operated plants just like this Skyline facility. John Ugair, who's based out of Madison, Wisconsin, but we've been working with on a number of different factory initiatives. Could be a great resource to evaluate the factory. I've been in touch with him. He's looked at drawings and pictures. We've been able to pull up some great archives. Some Sean has shared, some we've been able to uncover in town files, but also, there's the engineering organizations that worked on this factory initially that have been able to share some of the factory layout and the way the assembly line is set up initially. So there's a lot for us to build on here with regards to the building, but there's also a lot of work to be done to evaluate the existing conditions and what it would take to tool up and ultimately set up a factory to build sort of new energy efficient, healthy homes. In addition to that, it's getting together with the stakeholders in Vermont and beyond, talking with those that, may support this factory coming online, but also support potentially the sale and the deployment of housing coming out of this factory. So that would be, Housing Finance Agency or Housing and Conservation Board, housing and finance agencies in our neighboring states, mobile home park owners and operators. And so, spending time with our stakeholders to sort of get a sense for what the market would be out there. And then, finally, it would be just, working with Lyle and the Chamber to really evaluate the workforce in and around Fairhaven. Obviously, Skyline a decade ago had staffed up and had, seasoned staff to manage and run that plant, both the folks in the front office, that foremen and team leaders, and then everybody on the assembly line. And I spent a lot of time in these factories. I know that's no easy task, so it would be working with Lyle to really evaluate what the workforce is in and around Fairhaven that could support this factory, what type of additional workforce development we would need to do, potentially through our tech schools, and other avenues to help develop that workforce over time. Just make sure that, we have a good foundation on which to support this factory and its working workforce needs. So the overall, in getting estimates from potential consultants that could support this project, I should say Efficiency Vermont would provide my services under our typical Efficiency Vermont services, which would be a free service to Vermonters here. So my consulting time would be covered and wouldn't have to be funded under this grant request or grant. But we're looking at about $60,000, which would be an assessment of the building, the fit up and design of that factory, cost estimates to fit up that building, and then looking at the actual feasibility of this plant, building homes, and meeting sort of overall revenue goals to keep the factory operating. And then another $60,000 would go towards the market study, capital needs assessment, working with the Chamber and Economic Development on workforce, the workforce aspect of this, and really starting to develop some preliminary financial models, business models, and then tracking down potential, I guess, available sources of funding, whether that's state funding, private funding, federal funding, that would help us launch. And lastly, I'll just say, and then I certainly just open it up for questions, comments. Last would be just really thinking through who the operator is and what this looks like with regards to getting somebody in here that could run this plant, that has experience, that could come into this with the foundational knowledge for a successful business. So I'll stop there. I just open it up for questions, comments, and Lyle, please jump in as you see fit.
I just have one comment before it goes a little further. Once you start talking about something like this, everybody thinks it's kind of like a done deal and it's going to happen tomorrow. But this is not a tomorrow thing. If the world were perfect here, what's this timeline look like? If everything fell into place, what should the town expect?
I'm kind of 3-year-old running into the room at that same moment. So the timeline is, of course, we need to get a pre-application in by January 24th. I actually have a rough draft completed. Lyle and Joel, and certainly open to sharing this with the select boards, just have a draft scope of work, which is the biggest piece of this pre-application. And then we would have a full application that would go in by March 20th to the Vermont Community Development Program. They then issue rewards, assuming we receive the full grant in June, and we would be ready to go at that time. And then we'd be looking at the summer. I have to work with, we have to get out RFPs, but we could be in a position to get out the door with some requests for proposals and turn those around fairly quickly. But we want to get work started middle of the summer to complete it, in the third quarter. That would be the goal. So, everything I'd like to see done this year, and be sharing information as we gather it with the team, which of course would be, the town, the Camaras, and the Chamber.
Is this a pass-through grant? What's the town's responsibility at this point?
Yeah, so in talking with Joe about it, and honestly talking internally at Efficiency Vermont, we thought it best, and I think Joe agreed, that Fairhaven would manage the money. I could certainly help develop RFPs, direct the town to consultants that could respond, and then we would, with Efficiency Vermont's assistance from sort of project management role, we could provide assistance as we hire the development consultants, factory consultants, work with Lyle to just coordinate and compile and organize all the information that we gather. So really, the town's responsibility would be with Efficiency Vermont, and if Lyle were interested in being a part of this, reviewing the RFPs, then reviewing the submittals, the proposals, picking our consultants, and then, really, we would probably have a few meetings during that period of time to provide updates and get any comments, feedback with regards to the process from the town, to then provide full reports, in that third quarter of the year.
The other thing, I think Lyle was looking at the broader question of start with the grant process, which should end up in the third quarter. When would Skyline be up and running, if best case scenario?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we would determine that as part of the process. So, you know, Grant, I'd love to throw out, you know, what would be a real optimistic timeline and maybe something that would be a worst case scenario, assuming the factory plant would transition to building houses again. But I think realistically by the end of 2025 would be the most optimistic in regards to finding that owner-operator during this period of time and getting them into the plant, starting to acquire the materials that we need to re-outfit the plant. A lot of it is still there. It's actually quite remarkable walking into that plant and what great condition it is in. But we need to evaluate the dust collection system, compressors, the hoists and crane systems. Mezzanines were sort of cannibalized at some point since Camara took ownership of it. So there are some things that we would have to have built and reinstalled in the plant. It won't be a heavily automated plant, so you may have been aware, you know, some of the directions our manufacturing sector are going in with regards to robotics and things of that nature. This will not be heavily automated. It will rely on, you know, workers on the assembly line, a lot of the same tools we see on construction sites. We will be trying to optimize and engineer the plant to be as efficient as possible, but don't anticipate a huge investment in complexity with regards to outfitting it. So not a huge amount of time there, and because there's so much that exists in that plant right now, and that it was designed, and I think they designed very well to build the type of housing we envision building there, you know, a lot of the work's been done and is just waiting to be reutilized. So, you know, I'd say the earliest would be the end of 2025, and then going out from there, you know, if we had challenges. And Lyle, I don't know if you have a sense as well in regards to, you know, a reasonable timeline, but that's
you're very optimistic. I almost thought 2027, but
yeah.
Could you explain your terminology when you say the type of housing that would be produced? What are we going to see when it comes out the door?
That's a good question, and I should add that that's sort of part of the scope of the work, and I don't want to say that this is, you know, defined by any stretch. So Skyline, as some of you may know, or all of you know, built HUD manufactured homes that fall under the federal preemptive HUD manufactured housing construction and safety standard. That is, you know, your classic mobile home. And we, Efficiency Vermont, have actually been, and I should say our affordable housing partners like the Housing Finance Agency and the Housing and Conservation Board, have been investing in manufactured housing because a new code has come out. There's a new Energy Star standard and actually a new Zero Energy Ready standard. So we just delivered our first 7 homes from a factory, and the partner factory of this Skyline factory closed, as some of you may know, because Champion Corporation and Skyline merged. And they had 2 factories too close to each other, and you know, Champion Skyline, as it's now known, decided to close the Skyline factory and kept the what is called the Titan Homes factory outside of Utica open. So we just had 7 homes delivered from the Titan Homes factory to these new zero energy, all electric, higher performance standards. So this housing has come a long way. It's really meeting today's goals for durability, indoor air quality, energy efficiency. And so my first thought is to reactivate building that type of housing. And this factory could easily do 3 floors or 3 homes per day out of the factory. But, you know, having spoken with some previous management of this factory back in the day, you know, this was doing 7 to 10. And a lot of what they were doing was custom homes. So there was quite a bit of variability along the assembly line, which of course slows things down. My thought in a perfect world is that we would build these higher performance manufactured homes. We would limit variability with the regards to the number of designs coming out of the plant, so we could sort of maximize the output and deliver a home product that really serves the workforce housing that the state so desperately needs, and really the whole Northeast region. That all said, there's certainly an option to mix in modular. Most of the factories across the country that are building manufactured homes also build modular on the same assembly line. It's pretty much the same process. It just happens to be that there's different code oversight. That is, modular construction has to meet all local and state codes. So you have different third-party inspectors on the assembly line, and you have to build the homes to different standards that you would building under the HUD manufactured housing code. So, and then, single-family detached homes versus, doing small multifamily, whether that's townhomes or even doing small 24-unit multifamily modular projects. All of these are in high demand. I think we're going to see a transition to seeing more and more factory-built housing because our workforce is strained. We can be more efficient and productive in factories. The typical house, just to give you an idea, let's say we're doing 1,000 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2 house. It's typically 10 working days to build that house in a factory. You can imagine the time on site. That's typically at least a 6-month project on site. So, being able to turn out 3 to 5 homes per day and serve, Vermont and beyond with this scale of affordable housing would be quite impactful. Did that answer the question, Lon? Yep.
Absolutely, thanks. Yeah, and you said 100 employees was your guess?
Yeah, it would depend on, how many homes or modules we were looking to build per day. But having spoken with some, former managers in the Skyline plant when they were doing 5 to 7 floors per day, they had between 75 and 100 employees in the factory. Yeah. And the Champion Skyline plant, a little bit larger, moving about the same number of floors per day. They vary between that same. It's seasonal, as you may know. It's much slower this time of year where you might be doing 3 floors per day, and then, come spring, start ramping up, and orders are coming in, and the queue gets longer, and they start, delivering 5 and then 7 floors per day. And so they do, their assembly line might, increase by 25, during the higher demand times, and lower during the winter times.
So this would be, well, the first end of it is the feasibility.
Right.
And I will tell you right now, we will need some help administering that.
Yep.
And that's the first thing that the town will. And then you would find a private persons or private people to actually manage and run the plant. Is that the plan? You would go out, and there are people out there that do that. And there's not. I'm just thinking the competition between Skyline and Champion. How does that get into it, or the saturation of product in the area? That's one of the reasons Skyline shut down. They just had, the saturation was there, the transportation changes happened as well, so that they could move houses a little better out of Pennsylvania and New York. I worked there, as a matter of fact, for, I was a supervisor on the line in 2 different places, so I know it well.
I'm adding you to my list of sources here.
Dear God in heaven.
Peter, this is Glenn Travis, just want to make sure I've got this right.
Sure.
It sounds like what we're talking about is before the end of January, there's this pre-grant filing that needs to be done.
Correct.
Also heard there's the feasibility study that's about $60,000 to do that. There's also a $60,000 study to check out the market in the workforce. So there's about $120,000 of grants that we're hoping to get to pay for this. If we don't, and then after, I won't worry about if we don't get the grant. Let's stay positive and say we get those grants.
Yeah.
After we get those grants, we would then, because we have to first find out, is it feasible? Do we have the workforce? Is there a market? Then you would go look to see who would be potentially be the owner, try to finalize some other things with Mr. Camara, and
Yep.
Is that basically how that works?
Yeah, I mean, some things will happen in parallel. I think you have it.
Okay.
And ultimately, we're gonna do that $120,000 of work all together. And, at the end of that process, we certainly will have a package that we can shop around. Sean Camara, the family, we'll be talking with them, in the near term, just talking about obtaining an option to purchase on the property, right? And that can come in many different forms, and different folks can hold that. But ultimately, we would just keep it open. So, at the end of the day, when we have something to shop around, we're going to have sort of a financial model, a business model. We're going to know what the market is. We're going to be like, yep, the Northeast right now with the housing demand is going to absorb, on average 5 homes per day coming out of this plant. And we don't need to worry about the other factories that are deploying similar housing out of the one in New York, the rest are in Pennsylvania. There's no other manufactured housing plants in the Northeast anymore. Everything closed in Maine. So this would actually be the first manufactured housing plant in the sort of Northeast, if you don't consider upstate New York being in the Northeast. And so we would shop that around. And, the Camaras, for instance, could certainly have a stake in this at the end of the day, or it could just be like, we want to sell the building and we found that perfect operator that's going to come in. And that may be somebody who's currently in this sector right now and can bring that expertise and the skill set, and even bring the part of the workforce along with it to get the plant up and running. Or it may be a new partner, right? Like a construction management company that's really good at this, but doing it outside in the field right now, but they are excited to take their 20, 30 employees and transition into this factory and start scaling up and building these, they're building their houses inside and, staffing up with additional folks to meet the needs on the assembly line. So that is exactly, I just think throughout the process, just to go back to doing things in parallel, as we're talking with folks throughout this feasibility study, we're going to be engaging in these conversations. Word's going to get out. There's going to be folks that are interested in talking with us about this. There already have been, just based on the conversations that I've had internally and sort of, word of mouth, people contacting me and just asking about like, hey, when do you have an operator? Would you be interested in an operator? What would this look like? So I think that's going to happen during the feasibility study, which may help guide, what that transition looks like when we do have all of this feasibility information at hand.
So one last with that then, and really exciting stuff. Sounds good. What else would you need from us? Like letters of support when you apply for the grant? How else can we help this process?
Yep. Next step. So with a community block grant through the Vermont Community Development Program, towns need to officially submit them, and they can do that in partnership. What I would do from this stage is sort of finalize. I actually have shared with Lyle and Joe and Ken with the select board here a draft scope of work. I have the rest of the sort of pre-application filled out. I would provide that to this group for their review, and we would be pretty close to submitting that pre-application to the Vermont Community Development Program. We would then answer any questions they have with regards to our pre-application, and at the same time, we'd be working on the full application. That'd be something that I could spearhead. I'd work with Lyle and Joe on that, as well as a couple of the development consultants, factory consultants with whom I've been working on this, sort of preliminary proposal, as well as on some other initiatives we have that are similar. So yeah, the select board, town will need to submit this pre-application and then the full application by March 20th, and then it's a waiting game until June. If we get the award, that is when we will have some RFPs that'll be ready to go out. We'll go get those out maybe with a week turnaround, 2-week turnaround, so we can get back proposals to review as a group, to then select the development consultant, the factory consultant, and get running with this work as soon as possible. I think that's it. Did I miss anything there, Lyle?
One question,
Two
go ahead.
Two quick questions. One, the first 60K,
Yeah.
the town can use some of that to help pay for administering the grant, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We can, yep, if there's administrative fees that are needed, that's something, honestly, I could talk with Joe about what that might look like. Lyle, maybe we could all get on a call together. I'd like to include that in it. That 120 is, I think, a really good number for this, what I will consider the 2 phases of the feasibility study that we need to do here. Having gotten some estimates here, we just want to get a sense for how much the town may need to offset administrative costs to help manage this.
And where does the second 60K come from?
Same, it'll be a $120,000 grant request to VCDP here. I should note, I was hoping to match the $60,000 through Vermont Community Development Program. That would be the market study, capital needs study, and some of that development work that we would be doing. And then I was going to look to match it with what's called the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. It's one of our energy laboratories. We've been working with them for years on factory initiatives like this. They currently only have funding to really help out with how the assembly line would be designed and the actual housing designs that we would be doing to meet these new higher standards. And so I will be able to bring money to the table for that, but it won't cover that condition assessment that I mentioned. So there were four bullet points that will really be about that other $60,000. That's engineering and architecture work, factory consultant work. That's the condition assessment, the fit up and design of the factory, the actual sort of professional cost estimates, and then finally that entitlement feasibility, like, hey, what would it look for this factory to be running, and is this feasible and a profitable business that can hold itself up? That would be the other $60,000. So we're going to ask for both, and just working through this with Joe, ask for the full 120 from VCDP to cover both scopes of work, and then I'm going to be bringing in the near future that other funding, but that'll be specific to optimizing the house designs that would come out of this factory and how those strategies to improve the durability, the health, the energy efficiency of these homes, how that might impact the assembly line. That's going to be a different source of money beyond the 120. So we'll ask for 120. It may be split between those 2-3 parts, but we'll spend that over the second and third quarter to conduct all this work. The town will manage all those funds.
Is there a match for us?
No match.
Thank you. Okay, let's get going.
Any questions from?
Peanut gallery.
Guys in the...
What do they buy the building?
No, really excited about this.
This is, yeah,
good stuff.
we want to see this happen. We really do. This would be a great thing. It was a blow when Skyline left. It certainly was, and we'd love to see it back and running.
And I think if we're able to pull off a business like this coming back, when you're talking workforce, it's great for Castleton, Pontley, it's great for our neighbors as well.
New York State,
a lot of people,
whether it's Granville,
Hampton,
from Whitehall and Granville, so.
Yeah, so
it's-
no, good stuff.
It really is. Any other questions?
Thank you for taking the time
Thanks.
and talking with us on this good stuff, and looking forward to working with you.
Great. Well, I know I threw out a lot of information. I think this two-pager that I have, I will share. I know Joe has it. I was gonna just get some feedback from them and Lyle if there was anything else that was missing, edits, comments. But I'll get that to the select board so you can sort of see some of what I shared here in writing. So it might be easier to digest. But in short, really appreciate the invitation. To potentially do this work. It's a really great opportunity on so many different levels.
Yeah,
we
it really is.
We need the jobs, we need the housing. I know this would be a real boost to Fairhaven and the surrounding communities, as you noted. So, thank you for the time.
Yep.
Thank
Oh,
you.
And thank you, Lyle.
Thanks for choosing our region because this could be big, so
Yeah,
thank you so much.
All right, thanks again,
Thanks.
and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't want to be mistaken for an honorary select board member, so I'm taking off too.
Thanks a lot, there,
Thank
Lyle.
you very much. All right, take care.
See you later.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
You got it.
I was gonna step out.
Okay, so Mike's not coming, minutes agenda, we got approval of minutes, we got 5 minutes for public comment. Doesn't look like a lot of public came out tonight.
We have part.
I think I own the last house that Skyline built.
Oh, is it?
No kidding?
I think it was the last one. It was one of the last ones.
No kidding?
Nice home.
Nice.
Yeah, and we did a lot of custom. To do 7 floors a day and do the custom we did, it was a struggle, but we did it.
Who was the gentleman that lived here? Didn't he run, the plant manager?
Bill Haggerty still lives down on River Street.
Was there another
in
guy that was
Castle.
ill?
Yeah, Pete Hack, he died.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, he died.
I couldn't remember, it was right there, I just couldn't say.
Pete, it would be a different way of management, but Pete used to fire people by like a baseball. You're out of here.
Okay.
And he meant it.
But
Okay, nobody public comment, department head reports. You're here.
It's small. I did give you the one last Thursday for the end of December. I think you reviewed that one at all.
Yep.
So, the first 7 days of the year, we had 3 arrests. One was a fugitive from justice, a driving without a license, a wanted person without a license. We wrote 36 tickets at the typo in the first 7 days, 15 warnings, no parking tickets, we had 4 car accidents. We issued 2 sets of prints. I just provided you with a list of activities that we did.
Did you say you had 4 accidents?
4 accidents in the first 7 days of the year. Wow. I started my 20th year as chief, and Patrolman David retired, which is part-time, starts his 20th year with the department.
Congratulations.
So we had 70 calls for service so far, and I don't have the ticket revenue report for December, so I haven't included it yet. Once the state puts that up, I'll add it to the revenue.
And you started your 20th year. Congratulations.
20th year in this job, but I've been here since '98.
And who else started what?
Dave Ricard,
I don't know.
R-I-C-A-R-D, David. He's been a part-timer since 2005. He does primarily basketball games and security and Devil's Bowl and whatever. He's in his 60s now, so he's starting to wean off the actual work on the road so much, so he's doing some of the other security type stuff. But he's hanging in there, and he's on 20 years, which is, I didn't believe it'd been that long.
Okay.
Outside of that, I don't really have too much.
You've been busy.
We did assist the Attorney General's office in arrest. We did a search warrant on West Street for child pornography. They sent me over to finally arrest them. I didn't do a press release on it, it's not our arrest, but that was this week. You'll see it in the report, so if you wonder what it was. So that person would appear in court yesterday, in Rutland Court. I don't know the outcome of that, but outside of that, I don't have much to give you for the first 7 days of the year.
Okay, good.
We'll live with it.
Quiet is a good thing.
Questions?
How's your Camry working out?
Not too bad. No, they haven't ordered the real ones yet, but they seem to be okay. There's some things that I'm struggling with, how to upload them and how to do that. I need to sit down with the officer from Castleton that they use them every day, and just, I'm a hands-on guy, so let me walk through it myself. I've watched him do it, but it didn't quite click, so I did need to do it a few times myself to figure out how to do that. And then we're gonna move towards ordering them in the server. We're still having a problem with the shared drive. It seems every 3 days that goes down. I have to call it back and walk me back through how to put it back up on the backup. And so there's something in the computer, it seems to glitch it, and we lose everything. So you gotta go back and take it off the backup, put it back on. So hopefully those problems will all be solved soon.
That's all I was talking about that. Will you be able to use the body cameras and camera feeds from local towns if we buy? Will that still be on the same server? Can you use?
No, that would all be on a hard drive, I think, or whatever. You're talking about the cameras itself?
Yeah.
I think that's in its own separate
That's different.
containment. This would be all video from these, all video from the cars and photos and that kind of stuff would be primarily. And then we do have a shared drive where the officers can do their reports and save it in their own folder. That would all be on that. And then if you're looking for a document, you can go from any of the computers and pull it off.
Okay.
I was just going to ask Kara, I was just curious, is this one entry is car versus Bobcat on Route 4, is that the animal or the machine?
No, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Oh, did you find the Bobcat?
Yeah, I did find it. It was, why I didn't see it, he was only about, he was a young male, he was only probably 30 pounds, not very big, and he was near the sign, but he blended in, he was up on the hill. Fishing game did
Yeah, put it
put him
down.
on it. He was paralyzed from here down the hill in a car. But I felt bad, I didn't find him the first day. I went looking, the guy said it's right at this sign, and called Joe, I'm like, oh, it's not here. And the next day he came in, it was still there. And the warden came over, took my call to you. It took me a while to find it the second time, and then finally it was up on a side bank. It wasn't.
Any other questions of the chief?
No, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on.
I want to start with recognizing Liam Laramie. He was on the Economic Development Committee for 9 months maybe. He's going back to school in Boston, so he had to resign his seat on the EDC, but we thank him for his contribution these last few months.
What was he doing?
He was on the Economic Development Committee.
Oh,
Going to school and helping us out in the committee, which was good.
So much like we did last year, I scheduled a candidates night. It would be Saturday, March 2nd at 1 p.m. at the library. So if you're running for selectman or other elected office, we encourage you to come down and let folks know.
you said candidates night?
Candidates night
I heard cannabis night.
Cannabis night, yeah.
at the library.
I'm sure the townspeople would find that more interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What are you thinking about, Claire?
I'm wound up like a top today.
So for all the damage that we had down at the playground over the summer, I finally got all the invoices for that. We submitted the insurance claim for those damages. I'm not sure if I've said this a couple of times or not, but the project here in Town Hall is finally wound down after 5 years. We did reach substantial completion. All of the funds from the federal appropriation have been drawn. All of the VCD funds have been drawn. All of the funds from the Vermont, let me think, Restoration Fund? That's wrong, but the other small grant has been drawn. All the town funds have been drawn. So the only thing that remains is about 25, 30,000 from HUD. I'm not from HUD, from USDA. And they intentionally make you take that money last. So we'll be drawing down that. We'll be finishing up some small thing and drawing that down. Our annual OSHA reporting is done. That's just telling just taking stock of how many people got hurt this year and then posting it. I think we had 3 small injuries. For the coming, the annual report, the auditor says he will not have the audit ready for the report. He's just got too much on his plate. The audit report is required to be here by the end of March. So he said he'll get it to us by late February, early March.
So it won't be in the town report.
No, he's drafted a statement that he's provided. We want to thank the crew for what a good job they did on that last big snowstorm. For having pretty much a green crew, they did a good job. Got all the sidewalks plowed up early morning and got the roads and kept the roads cleared.
This is going to be an ugly
The storm. Yeah. In the transfer station permit, which is, we submitted that application. It's in draft final comment right now with the state, so that'll be coming soon to finish that up. They did put the demo pad in there, so we can use that legally again. The state told us to put the demo pad there anyway, so I don't know what the problem was last time, but it's actually written into the permit this time around. The guys were up on Sheldon. If you were up on Sheldon Road, you saw them doing some ditching. This was last week. Then we're staying on top of the potholes. This is something, especially up on Scotch Hill, we're trying to keep an eye on, and they've been doing a good job. They're patching every couple of days and staying on top of that. And that, gentlemen, is what I got for you.
Good.
Okay. Old business, anything sticking out? Doesn't say there is. Planning Commission membership for new business.
Yes, sir.
Either one, and what, we're asking that the board move back to a 5-person board because we are having struggling getting quorum with 7.
I had originally been a little bit leery of that, but after seeing what happens, basically right now we have 5 members, but really for all intents and purposes we have 4.
Right.
So if any of those 4 are out, we have no quorum. So I would make a motion that we reduce the seats on the Planning Commission to 5 from 7. And obviously if there's a need in the future for something else, we can revisit, but that's what I'd like to move right now.
I'll second that.
Yeah, I would just add in that Jason and I both agree that a larger board is just, there's more people, more input, more ideas. And we'd rather be at a 7, but we just can't get the people. And I put in that short blurb for the town report, I put in a request for people to be, if they're interested, to come to the meetings and see if we can get somebody that's interested. But they gotta be interested, they gotta come.
Right.
And
And we have to conduct regular business.
Right.
Regardless.
No, it took us 3 meetings to get a permit for somebody's yoga studio. So that's not good.
Just a quick question, would it behoove the board to see if he could get an alternate, like one alternate that wasn't a...
I don't know if you can have alternates, but probably, I don't
You
know.
know, if you have
That's
somebody
what,
that's ill,
where's
have
that?
an alternate that's up to speed.
Yeah.
Unless the chairman designates.
I'm just wondering if anyone really would be interested in doing that,
Yeah.
because they wouldn't be really a full.
Yeah, it would be kind of
That would
weird.
be nice.
The planning commission at the regional level has alternates.
Well, and I think, I could be wrong, a couple of years ago, like Patrick Frazier was an alternate that became a full-time, so I think you might have had one prior to you going on the planning commission.
Anyway.
I think there was one.
That's
Well,
enough.
but-
Everybody understand what we're doing?
Actually, I'd like to actually amend my motion. Let's go ahead and make it that we will reduce the planning commission from 7 to 5, and that we will, with the understanding that we will revisit this if circumstances warrant.
Okay. Second?
Everybody know what we're doing? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, tobacco, excuse me, tobacco and liquor licenses.
Okay.
Is this the full list here?
There's actually one added after that, so there should be 8.
Right.
See, I have 7. What's the 8th?
The 8th one is also for Global Montello Group, and it's a tobacco license.
Okay.
Want to make those motions?
You want to do it by company, or?
Go ahead, Jason, make the motions.
I'll make a motion that we approve a second-class liquor license, a tobacco license, and a tobacco substitute endorsement for RL Valley.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then I will move that we approve a second-class liquor license and a tobacco license for Global Montello Group.
Second.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I guess finally, we'll move to approve a second-class liquor license, a tobacco license, and a tobacco substitute endorsement for Stewart's Shops Corporation.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
There will be more.
Nice.
Okay. Equipment purchase, fire department reserve.
So the fire department's made a request to spend $17,216 from their reserve account to outfit 4 of our current members who are rated to do interior firefighting. This is one of those things where the equipment it has an expiration date, and they can't just keep reusing that stuff forever. So
The tanks and the masks.
so yeah, the whole deal.
Yeah.
So
I make a motion, we approve this purchase.
Second?
Do we understand that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good to go. Lead, approval of lead line inventory.
yeah. So we talked a little bit about this a few months ago. A&E came in and we put out some bids, and Aldred and Elliott came in after they won the bid to talk about what they were going to do. This is funding from the state to allow the town to go out and find out if there's any lead service lines running from our water service main out to homes. The goal is to eliminate these lead lines right out of the system. And that's what this is. This is a loan for $85,900, and this amount is totally forgivable. So once the project is over, they'll forgive this loan.
Is that signed by the chair or by the board?
There are blue tabs. One spot is by the chair, some is for the whole board, and others are for the treasurer and the town clerk. So take your time and look.
So you're looking for a motion. I'll make a motion that we sign the loan paperwork for the lead inventory in the amount of
$85,900?
$85,900, yes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Now, the motion is to sign the application or to approve the,
To sign the revolving loan. Yep. This one is Bob.
Zoning board appointment, there's actually 2.
There's 2 appointments. Yeah, so Bonnie Rosati and Cindy Adams, they need to be reappointed to the zoning board. They somehow, I don't know what happened, somehow they got on a funny schedule where they were appointed in December, unlike everybody else who were appointed in March or early April. What I'm requesting is the board give these 2 young ladies a 3-year, 3-month term, so their term ends in March 2027 to get them back on track, as opposed to having these two outliers just kind of floating. It's hard to keep track of that.
Makes sense.
Well, I'll make a motion that we appoint Bonnie Rosati and Cindy Adams to the zoning board of adjustment for a term of 3 years and 3 months ending on March 2027.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
This is Bonnie and who else?
Cindy Adams.
Cindy Adams.
And it's 3 years, 3 months ending,
March 2027.
Okay. Warning review.
Yep, so this is the, we'll call this the first clean draft of the warning. Article 2, that we've made the adjustments to what the select board budget was. The select board budget was approved on the 4th. That $2,686,787 was the approved budget. $773 is our anticipated revenue, leaving $2,117,114 to be raised by taxes, if I said that right. Article 4, you see that's the purchase of the fire truck. A total of not to exceed 600,000, not more than 600,000. The fire department will use 236,000 from the reserve fund. That does include the reduction we had today.
Right, of the 17,000 for the breakout gear, that reserve fund goes down by the 17,000.
Yep.
That's why it's different.
And then leaving us with a loan from the town of Fairhaven at a 1% interest rate at $364,000.
I just talked to the guys before I came in, and I said, I was under the impression they were okay with breaking this out for another year, so the brush truck wouldn't be on this list.
This does not include the brush truck.
It
Oh, did I say
says
brush
and
truck?
It should say just, we need to delete and brush truck.
Yeah, brush truck's coming out.
The brush truck shouldn't be in there.
No, I reduced the number, not
Good
the,
catch there.
yeah.
I mean, the implied promise is that, oh, there's 2 sets.
Oh, there's 2 sets?
Yeah, because that meeting missed. The implied promise is that we will revisit this again next year with the brush truck. But I did mention that maybe a little vehicle training could come in. There's, you know, those guys are just as surprised as anybody else, but Gen Z's, Gen whatever. Okay, so without brush truck. Okay.
Yep, we're gonna take that out. Article 5, that's a request to the voters. We're asking the voters to provide, that's gonna say not more than $106,000 to install a security system. That's both for the playground, the town green, and then the town hall. And that's all that the town itself has. I'm waiting for the, some numbers from the town clerk for that petition to wind down. And then the rescue squad, they do have a petition out, which they don't need to have a petition. So I gotta reach back out to them and let them know.
Yes, they do. Because we allowed for no petitions because of COVID and COVID. It's too late this year to change that, but there are people on this list. The one that jumped way out at me is the regional ambulance for $1,359. I'm not particularly sure.
We need to go back and look. I'm pretty sure I can find where there was a policy when you were off the board that went in, and it wasn't just COVID, it was the policy. So if we want to change it, I'm all for the discussion, but we need to pull that policy, look at it, and change the policy, do the right warning, so that everyone, we're a little, only point I'm saying, we're too far down the road.
Yeah, I agree with
To
you.
switch horses right now in midstream wouldn't work.
It seems to me if they want to keep raising the level of stuff, or monies that they're asking, they should have a petition.
Don't get me wrong, I'm with you on that one.
But you could call them, I will bite my tongue hardly, no, I already said it, so I didn't bite my tongue. So anyways.
Try hard, go.
I tried to.
Go ahead. Anything else?
No, so that's everything. At least for the town side, it's short this year,
Well,
unless the board would like to add something else.
no.
I think we're,
Do any of these numbers belong in the minutes?
and we won't,
They don't-
we have a special meeting, I take it, that we'll be approving this?
Yeah, which would be what
On Article,
18? Is that what it is?
18, yeah.
8?
Yeah. On
I'll verify the date, but I'm pretty sure.
on Article 5, I don't want to confuse things anyway, but that 106,000 for the lighting and the cameras, I'm just trying to think ahead to town meeting day, and when someone says, boy, that's a lot of money. Last year in the appropriations, we had 50,000, I call that a town need. Well, last year in the appropriations, we had $50,000 extra paving for town need. We also had 32,000 for playground and things. If you put those and those aren't there this year, but had they been similar when Ben here, you're only talking, the real increase that we're adding by putting cameras in is about $24,000. Versus a taxpayer looking at what their bill was. I don't think you're ever going to get a better time to go and put your cameras than right now, because of those two falling off, and you're looking at your total amount of appropriations. It's a little less painful.
And rest assured, if we don't act now, the price will.
Oh, will go up. And the only reason I wanted to bring it up is, in case we need to, I didn't want you hearing, the rest of my fellow board members hearing, if I tried to explain, I said, well, I understand, there was about $82,000 worth of stuff that isn't there this year, that normally when you see that appropriation year over year, what you're really going to see is about a $24,000, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. Does the article say lighting where? So people aren't confused, as you put lighting in the park, is that where it's going, or is this part of lighting for the playground?
It says security camera at playground, town green, and town hall. It didn't mention lighting in it.
Oh, I thought you said.
I might have, we originally talked lighting with it, and so don't let me, this is strictly camera.
Security.
I heard lighting, so.
Yeah, no, that was
I
my,
didn't want you to get hemmed up with, we just put the other one.
no. This is the security camera. But that's all. I mean, I didn't want to change anything, I just wanted to share it with the board members.
Anything in the parking lot that you want to talk about? The town plan is back online. We are going, we have 6 more pages to do. I will be visiting the water department and the sewer department to get their input.
Did we get the electronic version?
Yes, I gave it to Phil, has the electronic version, and he has the Google Doc, so if you guys want to, you can jump right on.
This is the Google Doc where,
Yeah,
and
right on.
it might be, the reason I'm looking at you, Jason, I'm saying, some of us can be a little challenged, e-challenged on the computer. There's this really cool Google Doc where you only have one document and the changes are all there. That's where the Economic Development Committee did theirs, but it's also, the whole document is there if you want to work, pull it up and you're working as a group right off them.
Oh,
the
that
screen.
would be nice. That would
And
be
then
very
and there's
nice.
not multiple papers.
Okay, so I'm gonna,
Good.
local accomplishments. None today.
No. I would, can I chime in real quick?
Sure.
Not necessarily about local accomplishments, but, I was kind of kicking around the idea as we get closer to elections, that while there may be things we disagree about here as the town manager and the board, as maybe trucks or construction or hiring or firing, but I think what everybody sitting at the table in the room and then outside these doors can agree with is that we really need to try to bring down this tax rate. It's relatively high, and I've been trying to find ways, but I was wondering if the board would, what the board thought about me putting an action item right on the agenda about revenue and tax reduction. So that way we can work kind of together as like the 5 and 6 of us, every meeting, sit down, talk about it, somebody goes out and does something, brings it back, as really kind of a proactive way to bring down the taxes, to bring in more cash. I'm gonna toss that out there and see what everybody thinks.
I think if we kept it to a half hour and just if you have something and people say yes, it's a positive idea, do the research, and we can come back the next time with something on the agenda that would.
Was your thought that it's an agenda item, and if we kick it around, it then becomes, it becomes a parking lot item?
Or something
That you flesh out a little more?
Right.
And get in, because if that's the case, then yeah, I think that's not a
That's,
bad approach.
it would
There's
be,
definitely ideas out there, people
yeah, and
moving forward.
yeah, big ones like selling water, that doesn't affect our budget, but it affects the water.
Transfer station,
That kind of,
punch cards, opening up the outside.
And,
yeah, all that stuff.
and it's not just us, I would expect people who work at water, sewer, transfer,
Yes.
DPW, probably have some great ideas.
Yeah, and those are
And it gives them an
simple things.
opportunity to flow
Well,
those up as
they
well.
have great ideas, and we really should listen to them a lot. I mean, I think that would go a long ways in
Okay.
shoring up our relationships.
Great.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just
Sounds
try
like-
it out
Sounds like
next
it's
time.
right.
Okay, we had the revenue committee and there's some good ideas that came up. It might be a good spot to start.
Yeah.
You can share that information and then start building it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some good ideas, but there was, a lot of it didn't get followed through with.
Yeah.
well, that will be our responsibility.
Yeah, that's where we are now.
Yeah. Okay, board roundtable.
I'm all set.
Jason,
as well.
as well.
I'm good.
I just have one, we got caught with the zoning appointments and actually our planning commission too. Is there a central place that has all these where they are? And can we get them so we have that in front of us, so we don't drop the ball again? It should be in the March flip.
Yeah.
You know, right after the first meeting, you start doing, when you're appointing, fence sitters and stuff like that.
Fence sitters.
Town report has that, you just take that copy.
Maybe, yeah,
Because it'll have, like,
sometimes,
your term
Yeah.
expires 2024,
Yeah.
that's what I've seen in the past.
if we can collate that, and I don't know if you work with the town clerk or whoever has that in place, so we don't drop the ball on that stuff. That's important. I mean, somebody could get snotty and say that's not, what you voted on last week wasn't right because there was a person wasn't totally involved or something. But anyways, let's just see what we can do about that.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Ben.
ready for the final?
Yeah, you didn't have anything?
Nope.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to pay the payroll for, this is 1226, I'll do them there's two different sets. On 1226 payroll of 32.
Wait, I don't have a 1226.
This is 26.
There's-
Oh, no, I'm sorry, this is 1226.
It's 28.
I went by the
Okay.
check number, it's
Okay,
26.
it would have, when I say the 12/26, it would have been the meeting and the actual, I think you put the check down. But the meeting of the 12/26, the payroll was $32,484.74.
I've got 78 cents.
70, okay, might be, where is the thing?
Which one is it, 26?
The payroll from the 26th?
Yep.
74 cents, right?
32.
$32,484.74.
Thank you.
Did we vote on that?
Yep, you can. Is there a second? You second that, okay. All those in favor?
All right. Make a motion to pay the warrant of $391,123.06.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Now we're going to go to the current payroll. Make a motion to pay the payroll of $35,798.24.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Make a motion to pay the warrant of $84,917.03.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
And the checkbook is at $760,120.58. You should be happy we're under $1 million.
Well, that can be under where we're supposed to be. Anyways,
Okay.
we need an.
I make a motion to go into executive session under 1 VSA 313A1 for a personnel/contract discussion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye?
Opposed?